Hello, everyone. My name is Juliana Petty, and I serve as the Executive Director of the Alliance for Working Together Foundation. We go by AWT for short. We promote rewarding manufacturing careers throughout Northeast Ohio. And today I'm so excited to be talking to you about an initiative that AWT is 100% behind, is the Ohio TechCred program and initiative. So there's oftentimes, I think, when a new program comes out, there's a lot of questions and things that may disillusion people around a program that's new. So what today we wanted to do was talk through the TechCred program and how it could benefit your business. So I'm going to go ahead and share my presentation with you, and we'll get started talking about the TechCred program. So the Ohio TechCred program, let's start with the basics. What is TechCred? So the TechCred description that I'm going to read to you today comes straight from the Ohio TechCred website. So Ohio's TechCred program gives employers the chance to upskill current and future employees in today's tech-infused economy. Employers who submit successful applications will be reimbursed up to $2,000 per credential when current or prospective employees complete their training. So reimbursements will be up to $2,000 per credential, and employers are eligible to receive up to $30,000 per funding round. So I know that definition was a lot, so let's start to unpack that. So TechCred, even though tech is in the name, I don't want anyone to get confused. TechCred is eligible for a number of industries, whether it's manufacturing technology, construction technology, all the different types of TechCred programs that are out there. What's really great about this program is when you are reading in the definition here, you'll see current and future employees. So if you're a hiring manager watching this video, you can see that you have a quota of getting 2 people hired in the next coming weeks, and you know that they're going to need some type of upskilling, that they need this type of training to be able to get where you need them to be. You can submit your TechCred application beforehand, before hiring those individuals. And then once they're hired in, you can go ahead and put them through the training that you selected through your TechCred application. And then we talk about the $30,000 per funding round. So TechCred opens every 3 months or so. It's a really great program that is provided through the state of Ohio. Lieutenant Governor Husted was a main proponent of the great TechCred program. So we're very, very fortunate to have it. And, with our current administration, we know that it's going to be an opportunity for employers, to receive this type of reimbursement through years to come. So when we're talking about the funding round, right now there's an application or funding round that's open from April 1st to April 30th. So when it gives you that cap, it's really for some of the larger businesses who might want to send 15 people through 15 different trainings. So again, just remembering that it's $2,000 per credential. So having that person, go through the training, it's up to $2,000 reimbursement for them, and then $30,000 per funding round. So for larger companies, if you're using that $2,000 for each person, that's 15 people that you could put towards that. So I like to think of the TechCred program in 4 main steps. For me, it's always just easy to break it down into step 1 through 4 and just knowing what I'm supposed to be doing. So the first step is the company selects the employee or employees for training and selects the training program. So really that first step is all about selection. Number 2, the company applies through the TechCred portal during an open application period. So we don't have, the state doesn't have a set timeline necessarily for the application periods opening, but it seems to open every 3 months. So i.e. right now, April, and then in August. So just having those, open application period. So be on the lookout. If you can't do the April application right now, you're saying, hey, Juliana, I just don't have all my people, or, I just want to make sure everyone's on board. You'll definitely have another opportunity to do this. So don't feel you need to rush everything for this application period. Number 3, the employees complete the training within a 12-month period. So this is really, really important. Again, this is short-term credentials for TechCred that are industry recognized. We'll go more into depth about the 12-month period and why that is and all that good stuff. And then number 4, the company submits reimbursement for TechCred through the TechCred portal. So that one is, in my opinion, one of the most important steps. So say you went through all of the effort of getting your employees and selecting the training program, we want to make sure that you are submitting for reimbursement because you went through all the other time and effort here. So we're going to just unpack each one of these steps so that way we can go into the ins and outs of each. So step 1, again, is the employee and training selection. So let's talk about employee selection here. So the great part about TechCred is that current and prospective employees are eligible to go through the training. So we talked a little bit about that before, that, you know, whether it's a current employee or a future employee, they're both eligible. You don't necessarily have to have the name of the person going through the program because, you know, the state understands and TechCred understands that sometimes things change. You know, maybe the person that you thought was going to go through the training program wasn't necessarily, they didn't think it was the right time for family reasons or what have you, but you're able to get another person. So when you're submitting the application, it's really about how many people realistically do I think could go through this training program within a year. For a lot of companies, a lot of smaller companies, I see them submitting, you know, anywhere from 1 to like maybe 5 people going through. For larger companies, you know, there's just a lot more people to pull from. So you can submit an application for, you know, however many people that you think, with in mind that it's up to $30,000 of reimbursement for the funding round. An important note when we're selecting the employees is if the employee does not complete the training within 12 months, you will not be eligible for your reimbursement of the training costs. So that's something very important to think about when you're doing this application, that, you know, you want someone that's going to go through the training. Once they start it, you want them to complete it. You want this person to understand the commitment that your company is making to them and also have a commitment back. So for AWT, for our apprenticeship program, which is recognized through TechCred, we actually give our employers a template agreement that is between them and their employee, saying that, you know, if I do not complete this training within 12 months, that, you know, whatever the company decides, whether it's, you know, hey, you did 6 months of training, now you just need to reimburse me up to 50% of the cost because you only did half of the training, things of that nature. It's really up to the company. That's not a stipulation of the TechCred program at all, that you have to have these agreements in place, and it's not for our AWT apprenticeship program either. I just think it's a very good idea to have that conversation and to have that agreement with your employees, so that way they know the commitment that you're putting into them as a person and that you really do want to upskill them. And something too that I think just comes out a positive thing of having this type of candid conversation with an employee is sometimes they may not know the value of what you're doing for them, and the value that you see it in them as a company. So for example, if a supervisor just picks someone and says, hey, you know, you're going through this training, the company is providing it through TechCred, blah, blah, blah. If you don't have that conversation with that person saying, hey, we see a future in you, we really want to upskill you, we think you'd be great for the next tier of kind of our company, they might not understand that you're really looking to their future and for the future of your company, which a lot of people, for the people that go through our AWT apprenticeship program, it really is kind of a really neat, life-changing conversation in a way, because for them, if they're just thinking of this as a job and not a career, then they might not be, you know, excited. But if they see that you're investing in them and that you see long-term investment in them paying off in the future, that's something they can be excited about, and they can really have that mindset shift from day-to-day job career, day-to-day job to a career that, you know, is for my future. So that is the employee selection. This portion over here is the training selection. So TechCred is focused on short-term industry recognized credentials. And the next sentence I'm going to read to you actually comes straight from the TechCred guidelines as of April 1st, 2021. So what that means is that the training must be completed in less than 12 months and is less than 30 credit hours or 900 clock hours and is recognized training within the industry. So I added that sentence, that and is recognized training within the industry, just because that's something important that TechCred wants to see. They want to see that, hey, this is not only internal training that you're providing, but this is something that if an employee gets this training, they're able to go to other places and have that be a value. You know, as a company, I understand that you want to retain your talent, and that's very, very important. We want that too. I think the best quote to sum it up is, you know, hey, why would I train someone and have them leave? I love this next phrase. I think it's perfect. It sums it up. But what if you don't and they stay? And that's so important. So really let that sink in. The what if you don't train them and they stay? That's really devastating to a business. So just thinking about that, I think, is a good way to understand why training is so important and why upskilling employees as a part of manufacturing and continuous improvement is a really great thing. So the reason why I put apprenticeships are an exemption or exception, because each year of the apprenticeship can be segmented into a stackable credential, for lack of a better term. So with our AWT apprenticeship program, it is a 4-year long model, but essentially what we did when we applied to the TechCred program is we used the related instruction. So that's the online courses and in-person courses that we teach. And we use that as our TechCred training, and we were able to segment that into year 1 of the AWT precision machining, year 2, year 3, so on and so forth, because apprenticeships are state recognized training opportunities. So to make the process easy, because I know your head's probably spinning with information and saying, you know, hey, Juliana, I don't know, like, what even is an industry recognized credential? What is even out there? You know, what do I have? So to make it easy, the thing that I love about TechCred is there's a pre-approved credential list that people can go to. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that so that way I can show you the credential list. Let me pull it up here so that way you guys can see it on your end. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and share. So on your screen, you should see the Ohio TechCred website, so techcred.ohio.gov. And then if you go to About on the upwards tabs there, and then you go over to the left-hand side to the credential list, you'll see a credential list, the pre-approved credential list that that you can choose from. So basically when you scroll down here, it's like I was talking about how there's so many different categories that are open for TechCred. So since a lot of our, you know, AWT's focus on manufacturing, most of our members are going to the manufacturing technology. So you can go ahead and click on that, and then you'll see all of the credentials that are recognized through AWT. So right here, you'll see our apprenticeship that we have. It's recognized for the year 1, year 2, so on and so forth. And then you'll see other ones here as well. So basically, if you're someone who is looking to train and you don't know where to start, I think the best thing for you to do is go ahead and just Google search and Google search the skills that you want. So let's, for example, say, you know, you want design, you want someone to be proficient in SolidWorks or, you know, some type of design software. You can Google search, you know, what's the best one. And then let's say you find, you know, SolidWorks, you know, they're very preliminary one, their first year credential. So you can go ahead and search in here and you can get anything that has SolidWorks available. So this one was Certified SolidWorks Associates, CSWA. And so you can see, you can click down over here and see the certification providers. So you see where this SolidWorks is offered. So Clark State, the Computer Workshop, Sinclair, Stark State College. So you can go ahead and click those. And it's nice because this indicates, the little computer indicates the credential can be completed 100% virtually. So you see that, you know, Clark State College, the Computer Workshop, Sinclair, you can, even though, you know, you're in Northeast Ohio, you can still have your employee enroll in this program through those colleges because they are virtual. I will say that maybe not all of the certification providers are an exhaustive list. So, you know, being in Northeast Ohio, you can always, you know, email myself or email Michelle Rodewald at Auburn and say, hey, Michelle, I was just wondering if you offer the Certified SolidWorks Associates, or look on their website. A lot of CTE, career technical education providers and community colleges, they have a lot of their programs on their websites. So for example, if you said, hey, I want to support local and I want to go to Auburn Career Center, you know, you can always see if they provide that training as well, since it's already listed on the credential list. So again, that's how you would choose already listed credential. So the question that I get right after this is, you know, hey, Juliana, what if my credential is not listed? So we'll go ahead and kind of go through that and what that means in a moment here. I'll switch back to my PowerPoint. Okay, there we go. So you'll see, what if I can't find my credential on that list by TechCred? And this, again, this comes from the TechCred program guidelines that are on their website. And it says that TechCred is designed to be responsive to the dynamic workforce needs of employers. Employers can request that additional credentials meeting the eligibility requirements identified above, which we'll talk about, which we already talked about, having that less than 30 credits hours, having the less than 900 clock-in hours, all of that information. And then filling out the TechCred, when filling out the TechCred application, employers will choose credential not listed and be prompted to provide the following information. So this is a list of information that you as an employer would need to upload to the TechCred application if your credential list is not provided on there. So if your credential is not on the list that I just showed you, this is what you would need to put in your TechCred application. And in the future of this meeting, I'll show you exactly what that looks like on the employer end through the application. But here's the information that you need. So you need the name of the credential, identification of the credential as a certificate or certification. For certificates, the number of hours or clock hours that you would have. For certifications, you need the certification issuing body. And then you need evidence of this competencies/skills taught or measured in the credential are technology focused. So for that one, a lot of times what people do, if you're working with a community college, course descriptions of, you know, why this is technology infused, something to stay away of when you're giving that information. You really want to stay away from like basic math and some other basic skills, because TechCred was really designed to upskill people. So yes, in some college courses you may hit on math, but this is really about that technology focus next level. So for example, let's say that someone takes, let's say they take a manufacturing technology class. And yes, maybe mathematics is covered, advanced mathematics for manufacturing is covered, and that's fine. But really focusing on, you know, hey, they're doing CAD/CAM designing, they're doing, you know, SolidWorks, they're having some of these technology focused skills in there. And that's really important to put within that. So that way, once the TechCred committee is deciding, they know, hey, this meets our guidelines. This is why the program was started, and, you know, this credential meets that. The next portion is evidence the credential has value beyond the submitting employer and is not exclusive to one organization. So this one is really important. I want to highlight this. You can You cannot just provide internal training. So if your company ABC cannot just provide company ABC training and then get reimbursed through TechCred. It's really about having an outside organization coming in and providing some type of training. Of course, there can always be a certain portion of your program that is provided with the employer. For example, apprenticeships, there are on-the-job training hours that, sometimes go with the TechCred program or with the apprenticeship program, but it's just not exclusive to that. Most apprenticeship programs are state recognized apprenticeship programs or Department of Labor. So what that means is that your employee is getting this skill that they can take with them and that they're able to always have that. So just in case, God forbid, anything happened to company ABC, that employee is not left, between a rock and a hard place trying to find a job. They do have a skill that they can take with them. So that's a very important piece of the application. And then lastly, a link to the Credential website or uploaded syllabus or brochure about the program. So really that's just to help the TechCred committee, decide, hey, is this credential worthy? Is this what we really designed the program for? And if you meet all of the qualifications that we talked about previously, short-term industry recognized credential, that has value bond, just one organization and all of that, it's a good chance that you're going to be approved. So this information right here, this is new to TechCred as of April 1st, 2021. Some of these updates came a little bit earlier than that, but I'm just putting that as the, start of the application period. So the first thing is the length of the grant will be reduced from 18 months to 12 months from the award date. So on some of the previous TechCred applications, it did say 18 months, but now it is that 12-month time period. So again, short-term credentials, they do want them done within that 12-month timeline. So that way the person is able to receive that credential. Training programs must start on or after the date of the award, not before, and must be completed in less than 12 months. So this is important, and this is where you'll have to kind of think through things a little bit. So if the start date for the program is, is before so let's say, for example, if there was a program I wanted to send one of my employees to in March, I would not submit the April 1st, 2020 application for that training. I would just wait until, say there's another SolidWorks course that happens in July or August. That's when I would submit the April 1st, 2021. So it's really just about thinking a little bit ahead of where you're going to be in the next coming months. So if I know I'm hiring someone and they need that SolidWorks training in the next couple of months, April 1st is probably a good period for me to submit the application. The next portion is training providers are no longer eligible to receive reimbursement for employees trained in-house. If training providers wish to utilize TechCred to upskill their employees, they must use an external training provider. So that comes straight from the TechCred website as well. And basically what was happening is just, if you're a training provider, you provide training. So it made sense to people to, just send them to their internal training. But really, again, what TechCred, the purpose of TechCred is that if something ever happens to, a company or anything like that, that the employee has that leg up, they have this skill that's transferable. So that's the only reason that that change was made as well. So for this, I'm actually going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and then share the application portion. But I did want to let you know that if you want to have your credential listed, you can watch the rest of the video and go through the steps. I know some people are very step-by-step people and they like to have something like this. So we did break it down step-by-step. If your credential is not listed, how to do the application period. This is specific to our AWT apprenticeship program before it was recognized on the official approved list. How we would help employers go through that process. So you may see some information like, for example, the next page will say apprenticeship, insert occupation, insert year, all of that. That would just be, whatever credential that you're trying to do. So for example, I was just looking through the credentials and I did not see water jet cutting, and I know one of our company members was really interested in water jet training. So what we would do is I'm going to walk that company through these steps to be able to, put their credential in for approval through the TechCred program. So again, these are just the template steps, I guess you could call them, for whatever training that you're trying to get recognized if your credential is not listed. So that is, again, the most important piece. This is if your credential is not listed. If you already see your credential listed, the process is much more easy, and I'll show you that process too, because you'll be able just to select the already approved credential that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, make sure that I get to the application portion of this, and that way I can walk you guys through that. All right, so on your screen, you should see the TechCred application. Again, techcred.ohio.gov. You'll scroll down a little bit to TechCred and you'll click apply. This is really important right here, just because I want to make, help you out a little bit, because this one little step could help a lot with confusion and different things like that. So I would ask whoever would be in charge of normally submitting state information, whether it's, your HR person, whether it's your company president, whether, whoever that would be, because some people, they may already have an account and they just don't know it yet. And if you make a personal account, you see mine, like the Juliana Petty one, you just have to link it to your business account. And sometimes that is a little confusing if you haven't done that process before. So I always recommend just asking, whoever would be in charge of this stuff at your company, hey, do we have an Ohio ID account? And if you do, just use that account to be able to apply to this, just because it'll be easy. Then you'll have all of your company information all in one. So that way, again, you don't have to mess around with the linking and all that information. So to create an account, say you didn't have one, you'll just go ahead and click this button, create an account. You'll put in all your personal information. You'll put in, verify your email address. Again, you'll create your personal profile, your passwords, your verification questions, all of that good stuff, and you'll create an account. For me, because I already have an account, I'll just log in here. Once I log in, you'll see it says welcome, and I do have to put in my federal ID. And this is just important information about TechCred. So this, again, was what we had kind of talked about earlier, the changes. This is one thing I wanted to bring up. The status reports will be required at least once every 4 months, beginning on the effective date of the agreement. So this is really just a check-in period from, you'll get a message from TechCred Ohio, and they'll say, hey, can you fill out this form? It'll say, hey, has your employee started on their training? Have they completed it? Have they not started it? All of that good stuff. And again, it's just a status report. So that way, the state of Ohio kind of has this data saying, hey, this is so many people who applied. This is so many people who maybe didn't complete their training, so we can't reimburse them. So it just helps them a little bit with, making sure that they have proper numbers for budgeting and things like that. Once you click apply, the first thing that you'll put in is your federal tax ID number. And then once you put in your federal tax ID number, you'll click the red button at the bottom that says create new application. Once you go through that, the first couple of things that it will ask you is number one for your Ohio supplier ID. So if you do not have that, it's really a good idea to locate that before. The TechCred application also has a little bubble that says, you can contact the Ohio Shared Services email address if you have any questions on how to find that. The next thing that it automatically puts in for you is your federal tax ID that you had put in previously. And then the third number that you'll need is the Ohio charter number from the Ohio Secretary of State's filing portal for your business. So those are really the three key numbers that you'll need to make sure that you have before you start this process. The reason why I didn't show you before is just, to keep all of AWT's information confidential. But then once you get through adding the numbers, then you'll go through this portion of the application where it's, are you minority-owned business, woman-owned business, address, city, state, zip code, county, business industry, how many full-time employers, and so on and so forth. So the business contact information, I always tell people, make sure that you're putting the right person in charge of this. If HR is in charge of training and development, this would be the person that's doing the status updates and doing the reimbursement process and all that good stuff. So just make sure that's the correct person listed there. So this is where we talked about the credential list and whatnot. So when you add the credential, you'll go ahead, and if you saw a credential on the TechCred list that, was already, you're like, that's the one I want to do, that makes sense to me, you'll go ahead and select credential and choose one, and say you saw it under manufacturing technology, that little portal. And then you can see all the ones that are listed under here. So for, ease sake, let's just say we're going to choose the Allen Bradley one. So we chose the Allen Bradley, and let's say, this one's going to be completed a combination of online and in person. I don't know if that's true. I'm just, for the sake of showing you this, what you would put in. Let's say the training cost is $3,000. And then let's say the full name of the training provider, so that would be the Allen Bradley. And then the type of training provider, let's say private training provider, and then reimbursement amount requested. Again, this is up to $2,000 per credential or certification. So you'll go ahead and put $2,000. So this is just, it does the math automatically to show that, since you're sending this person to the training, you would be contributing as an employer $1,000 out of your own employer pocket, and then getting the reimbursement for that. So this, again, we talked about, so incumbent employees, so people who are already working for your company, let's just say 2. And then let's say you have prospective employees who will do that. So number 1. And then, so the average current hourly rate before bonus and benefits and bonuses, and then same with the prospective employees. Sometimes with prospective employees, you won't necessarily know, but give your best estimate that you can, whatever, the position was listed at. And the reason why there's an average current and then expected after, the TechCred program was designed to allow people to upskill themselves and to get wage increases, because we know when people get wage increases, they're able to, have a little bit more spending power, help our economy out in that way. So that's really why that's required. I know I've had questions from employers about, hey, why is that information needed? But we just want to be able to show, or the state rather wants to be able to show that when you upskill people, it's good for them to have that ability to, know more knowledge. It's good for the company because that person is able to be more productive, and it's good to have a little bit of a wage increase to, help out. So I'll just put in, let's say 15, 25, 15, 25. Again, that's all just made up, just for the sake of showing you the application. So that this will show you what you requested. So since I was requesting for 3 people, the total, and requesting up to the $2,000, that's a total of $6,000 for a total of 3 credentials. Say I was done, this is what I wanted to do, then I go ahead and submit the applications right here. So that way that way I agreed, did the terms and condition, program guidelines, looked through those. A thing that I always like to tell people is just to make sure that you have just general good practice. Having a copy of your application is always good. I know that sometimes just tech issues, whether a program automatically puts your old address in, say you're a company that moved and it automatically puts in, your old address rather than your new one. It's really good just to have a copy of, what you submitted from your application and the training plan. If you do have any questions on the application, say something is not working, you're not understanding something, you can always go to the TechCred Ohio development.gov. If you think it's like a 2-second thing, AWT is always happy to help you as part of our, member companies as well. So feel free to reach out to myself or any of our AWT staff, and we'll be able to help you out there. So that's pretty much how you would submit an application for a credential that already exists, that's already approved on the TechCred website that we talked about. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I want to show you if you were to add a credential that was not listed on the TechCred website. So say, for example, hey, I want water jet training. I didn't see, credential listed. I would like to add for a credential. So go ahead and add credential. And this one, once you go to select credential, you just go to other and then say credential not listed. So say, for example, that most of your training will be provided online. So you'll choose online. Then this is what you're going to choose. So the credential completion is indicated by below. So whether it's documentation proving successful completion of the training, course or series of the courses or certificate program. So that's really, I like to give the example of, going to your local community college or career and technical center and completing those classes. A lot of times they already have a set, they have their set syllabus that they're going to follow, and they have their course description, and that once your employee completes that class that they're supposed to meet those outcomes, those objectives. That's a really good example of documentation proving successful completion. So, a lot of times the documentation will be someone's transcript showing that they completed that. Sometimes you get a certificate that says, hey, they completed this one class. So any of that could be used as documentation. Passing a standardized assessment that recognizes an individual's knowledge, skill, or competency in a particular specialty. So this one, again, we're talking about assessments. So a really great example of that is NIMS. NIMS is a nationally recognized certification that you can have, and it's competency based. So after a NIMS instructor can say and approve, hey, you did this NIMS level machining 1, you get this passing score of your assessment, essentially. So those are just really the differences in how you're going to say, hey, my employee knows this knowledge. Is it through just general completion of like a course, or is it more of an assessment base? So whatever that would end up being, let's just say for the sake of this, we're going to do documentation. Let's just say it's a class that they're going to. So the name for me, I always just end up putting, the name of the certificate. So whatever types of training. So for example, let's just say it's a SolidWorks type of class. So I'll just put SolidWorks. 1, 2, 3 training. So that's information right there. And then examples using from the curriculum that shows like the competencies and or skills taught in the program are technology focused. So again, this is where we talk about TechCred is not really for those basic skills or for those soft skills. Like if a portion of the class was just, if it's just communication class, that's not really what TechCred is about. It's more of the technology infused credentials and certificates. So again, just taking those course descriptions from the website or syllabus or whatever you have, and making sure that you're able to put the description in there to show how the skill is technology infused. For SolidWorks, that's really easy, to be able to say that It's technology focused because it is a design software. So giving some descriptions of what the training will be like is really good. So will individuals in the program earn college credit? So let's just say yes, because it's recognized through, you know, certain college or something like that. How many? Let's just say this is worth 3 college credits. Provide evidence that the credential provides value beyond your organization. So again, just having that industry recognized credential that is transferable to different companies. So with SolidWorks, I think it's a good example to talk about how, you know, this is all over the country. People are able to receive this SolidWorks training. You know, it's also eligible for college credits through this college, which is transferable. You know, associate's degree is nationally portable, things of that nature. Just showing that, hey, you know, this training is transferable outside of some of this other stuff. And then same way for, you know, NIMS or things like that, just talking about how it's a training provider that's nationally recognized is something that just TechCred would like to see as part of, you know, being eligible for the reimbursement. So a link to the Credential website, that's again, just to show the committee, the TechCred committee, what the program is all about. They can check it out and do their due diligence to see, you know, what that really means. And then upload files. So this is where a brochure, a syllabus, a course outline can be submitted in lieu or along with their website. So if you have the Credential Link website, you don't necessarily have to upload the brochure or syllabus, but, you know, it's always good to have more information. So that way, you know, the committee can make their decision. So cost, again, is just like the cost structure that we did. So cost for per person training. So let's just say it's $4,000. Full name. So it'd just be SolidWorks training or something like that. And then let's say they're private training provider, and then your crest $2,000. So again, it does the automatic employer contribution. You'll go down to how many employees that you would like to submit, current employees, and then prospective employees, and then you'll close and submit just like we saw with the last application that we did. So with that, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions at all, you can always email me at Juliana, Juliana at thinkmfg.com. And you can also, if you're doing the TechCred website in your website application and you're just running into some issues, some tech issues, you can go ahead and email TechCred, TechCred, CRED at development, development.ohio.gov. So make sure that you know, you're going ahead and doing that. Oh, and don't include that last dot in there. That's just a punctuation. So if you need any other information, just let us know. We're happy to help. So thank you so much, and just continue to have a great day.